Here's Heidi and her babies. Let's make sure she has enough water. She's got water. Mama. Hi, baby. What you doing? Where's other baby? There's other baby. Other way. Nope. Other way. There you go. Nope.
Play in space. Let it spin. Let it spin, let it spin, let it spin.
Take a look of intense, furious concentration.
Pretty intense.
What wheel is this?
This is a 3D printed Saxon, oh no, castle wheel.
A 3D printed, so you like made it?
I did, I designed this one.
Oh
So this is the flyer. It's made out of 2 3D printed parts. One of them is printed vertical, it's this one. The other is printed flat here. These are just hooks from Home
Right.
Depot. And this is a 1/4-inch steel rod that's just pounded in with a little bit of super glue to hold it in place. And then here is the bobbin. That is also DIY. These are 3D printed end caps with a little piece of aluminum tubing. Then that just pops into here, like so. This is my brake band for Irish tension. Come on. I made the orifice large so that I could fit my big fingers into it, so that I wouldn't have to use a hook. Trying to keep it simple. Combed top.
Yeah. So you also have combs.
Yes, I have some in the basket right there.
Okay, so this is combed.
Is that Jacob's fleece?
This one is Romney. And what's this, Polypay?
Is it? I don't know. I got it on Craigslist.
I wonder if it's Polypay. It's quite soft. It's a little bit kinky, a little crimpy. Romney's going to be longer with less of a crimp.
How long is the staple in there? That looks
It's
like
about
5 inches.
6 inches about.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love Romney. It's amazing.
Do you ever spin in flax?
I have done flax. I enjoy it. I don't like wearing it as much because I'm not very good at getting it super, super fine.
Do you want it that there or? Okay.
And then you've been doing it clockwise or counter?
Counterclockwise. So
Count one, there we go. Correct direction that you want me
that's
going
it.
in?
That's perfect. I can't wipe the strain off my face. This is awesome to see someone else enjoying the wheel.
This is fun. I think your foot placement is nice.
That's actually adjustable. The only thing holding those on are just 2 screws. And so if you find that you like your feet closer together, which I do, when I spin I like to have my feet really close together and just do kind of a rocking motion. And if you want to adjust that in, you can. If you want to adjust it out, you can.
Okay, so hopefully it's still on. So for those of you who can hear this sound, it's not actually that much different from my other wheels. A lot of times when you buy a really expensive wheel, you're assuming that it's going to be completely soundless. There's not going to be any squeaks or squawks. And honestly, I have a Spinolution wheel that is a little noisier than this because it has a really high piercing squeak. There we go. Okay, so what I have found, what I was struggling with at first was that whatever direction you're putting it in, you want the uphill pedal to be up when you start. So I'm going counterclockwise, so I want my left foot up as I'm starting, and if I was going clockwise, I would want my right foot up, I believe. So whichever one is pulling uphill is the one that you want to start up. If you want to put more twist in it, just hold it back. It doesn't seem to mind being held back. It's not staggering when I'm holding it back to add a little bit more twist. There doesn't seem to be a problem with that.
The wing nut here is supposed to adjust the tension, but I found that really what's doing it is the gravity. It's just the weight of that bolt is providing the tension.
Just a light amount. I thought that was very clever when I opened up the kit, that it had just a wing nut. And I thought the whole thing was very clever. I was really concerned when I put the wheel on because I couldn't get the spacer fit on. I'm like, am I guessing wrong that this is what he meant? And so I tried that, and then it turned out it wasn't that the spacer wasn't working. It was that my wheel was so askew, I think.
Alrighty. So there's a little bit of an order to this. There's a wider side of each one of these spokes and a narrower side. And the 3 wider side ones, which in this case are the gold ones, need to go on first. Wide sides down to the bottom. And then the other 3 can go wide side up.
So did I mix them wrong?
Probably not. It was probably just the pegs not being seated all the way down. So I just need to tap this one to get them flat. And then feel that. This one needs to come down a bit. And that one. Okay, these are all flat and even. I can feel that with my finger. I'm going to tweak that one. And then it's just time to put the pins in. I'm going to start with this guy. First pin goes in place. And then you can be pretty aggressive with these parts. I've printed them to be a little stronger than the average 3D print. Okay, that one's in. And then, oh dear, I see what's going on.
Yeah,
there
was a gap.
That happened with a couple of my earlier prototypes. I fixed that in the 3D design, but the way to fix that one is just to apply a lot of pressure when you're putting it together.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Oh,
How's it going, bud?
what are you doing?
I'm making a thing. Does it look pretty cool?
Yeah.
I'm
What
glad.
diagrams are here? Let's go find some.
Okay. Let's get that going. I just need to apply a little bit of pressure. It looks like only one of the spokes is from that earlier batch. There we go. Fortunately, I think this one is all together.
Okay.
If you want it to be a little more secure and don't plan on taking it apart, you can just add some super glue along the cracks,
Okay.
and then that'll just cement everything where it is.
Have you found that it needs it generally? Do you do that on yours?
I have, but
do?
it's probably
Okay.
overkill. It's probably overkill in most cases, but I like overkill, so.
Okay. I think that's awesome. So the thing I thought was really fun was that you have these in a couple different places, and it seemed like they just helped things move. I didn't have a lot of binding. Again, I felt like it was, if anybody had spun before, it was really kind of a no-brainer putting the wheel itself together.
Okay.
And I thought just using hardware parts was brilliant because it cuts down on cost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here we go, Joseph. Tell us about yourself.
So I run a YouTube channel and a Etsy business called Good and Basic, where I make all kinds of stuff, but on the Etsy business it's mostly 3D printed textile tools, including wool combs and a spinning wheel. And my goal is to make them reasonably priced, because when I was interested in getting into spinning, the cost of a wheel put me off it completely. So I jerry-rigged one, made one out of a Singer sewing machine base, and now my goal is to make it a little bit more accessible to you who want to get into spinning for the first time.
Do you mind showing me?
Sure, absolutely. Do you mind if I use your nice comb for preparation?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Thank you. I honestly, one of the wheels that I use most often at home, I've actually removed the pedals from, and I just use it with the flat bar. Also with Irish tension to make it simpler.
So I'm curious. You have a very consistent. Ply. And so what have you made so far? As far as, do you knit? Do you crochet? Do you weave?
Null bending. This is a mitten I've been working on, and the knots here are the joins. I keep hearing from people that you can felt the joins, but it's an old way of, it predates knitting. It's what the Vikings would have done.
Mm-hmm.
And use a big kind of bone needle, which I have sitting in my car, to thread the entire end of your string all the way through every single loop. So if you have a stray thread that breaks loose and you tug on it, it doesn't unravel the whole thing. It tightens it, seals the hole.
And do you find it looks like it's not? By the sound of that, it sounds like it would be a coarse finished fabric, but it's quite. It feels like it's quite thick and close.
Yeah.
But not coarse. It's not knobby.
It's not knobby except for where I've left knots. In the comment section, I have gotten a number of people telling me that I can felt the ends of the yarn, but I've never successfully done that yet.
Mm-hmm. But if you're the only one wearing it and you don't mind.
Yeah.
I always just, when I make a mistake, I look for a smaller human being to gift it to. If I make it too small.
That's awesome.
If I make it too big, I just felt it, stick it in the washer.
That works. That works. You got a solution on both ends.
Yeah, you have to, because sometimes it's just an addiction. You have to keep doing it whether or not it's useful. It feels almost like an oven mitt. It's so what's the word? It's so tight. Like it almost feels like it's already been felted.
Not yet. That was just finished a few days ago.
Gentle. Gotta be gentle. All right, my final prognosis. After I've had this since October, I didn't want to jump the gun and make a video about it if I didn't know that it was going to be good. So Kai and Paige have both spun on this. I have spun on it. When it first got here, it was very easy to put together. And really the only difficulty I had was in finding the tightness of the drive band. How to put my drive band on so that it was tight enough to make the wheel spin, but not so tight that it was skewing the angle of the wheel itself. So you want to make sure that your whirl is directly above your wheel. But it comes pre-measured with the wood already cut, so that really shouldn't be a problem. I have a little bit harder time spinning on this when I use my balance ball. Usually when I spin, I sit on a Swiss ball. With this one, I can't do that quite as easily. I can totally do it, but it's a little bit easier just to sit in a stationary chair. But for a beginner wheel, I think this is a great start. It's $200. Most other beginning wheels start at $400. It's just made out of 1x1. I think, is it 2x2? I think that's supposed to be 2x2. It's made out of 2x2 lumber. It's very light. When you put it together, it's just normal screws. And he has the instructions there for you. I hope he added a few more pictures for those of you who have never put a spinning wheel together before. But, you know, everything's pre-drilled, so pretty much you just look at the picture and you put it in. I'm trying to think if there's any part of it that's a little harder than others. When you put the wheel together, you do need to make sure that everything is lined up before you put the pins in. Make sure it's all flush and flat. The spacer at the back of the wheel, I don't know if he left the spacer on this because he had to come tinker with it for me because the kit that he sent me had one piece in it that was not correct. So when I first got this one, I was dismayed because I couldn't get the wheel to flush. And what had happened was that this part here was from the wrong pattern. It needed to be sunk like this is. See how that bolt is completely sunk into the wheel? Because of that, I was on the phone with him quite a bit, testing out his customer service, seeing whether or not he was going to make sure that my wheel worked. And I will say that I think he's a beginning manufacturer business owner. In speaking to him and talking to him about what was wrong with the wheel, instead of fixing the wheel initially, he told me to add washers. And the wheel was still very awkward. It started to work fine when I added the washers. The problem was that this part here was rubbing against the wheel. And because the hub, this part here wasn't sunk the way that it needed to be. So in February, he and his wife came over and we did some spinning, and he pulled out and fixed the wheel, and now it works just great. So I don't think it was anything except just inexperience of a new business owner needing to double check that he had all the right parts in the package before he sent them. And that's why it took 6 months to get this review out, is because I wanted to make sure that my viewers were not getting a wheel sent in the mail that was a kit that they couldn't put together and spin with. If you're a beginning spinner, you don't know if it's user error or if it's manufacturer error. Okay, I want to show you guys what I do when I have a beginning spinner. What I'll do, probably just need to get a new bobbin, but I'm going to show you like this. Pretend I have a new bobbin. What I'm going to do, if you're a beginning spinner, attach your thread here, and you're not going to try and make yarn at first. You're not going to try and make yarn. All you're trying to do is learn how to get your feet right. So what you're going to do is, for a while, come on. Again, my dry band is too tight. All I'm going to do is learn how to pedal. And you can do that with just a piece of thread. And learn how to get the pedals to work. Learn how to get the wheel to turn. And then once you've mastered that, what you're going to do is you're going to keep your thread on. You're going to get yourself some wool. And you're going to let the wool wrap around onto the string. The reason you're going to do that is because the string will keep your yarn from breaking while you're learning how to ply. This is called a core spin. It means you've got a core of cotton or a core of some other kind of thread or something, and you're allowing this to spin onto it. I'm not doing a very good job because I'm allowing the thread to be looser than the yarn, and so the thread itself is wrapping around the wool instead of the other way around. But it doesn't matter because all you're learning how to do is draft and keep your feet going. If it looks like a barber pole, it's okay. The other nice thing is if you do a core spun, it's usable yarn. Instead of having spots where everything breaks and it doesn't work, instead of being frustrated, you recognize that you'll still have a usable product when you're done. It's not going to be 100% wool yet, but it will be yarn. Now, you'll see, I don't have this big old glob of wool. I have something that I've prepped, that I've opened up the pores, I've opened up the spaces, and it's nice and open. It's not too hard to work with. You can do the same thing with the raw fleece, but just make sure it's open and that you don't have too much in your hands, because it'll wrap around this and it'll try to pull the whole thing in and it's a mess. Once one little piece of bobbin is full, you move it to the next one. And then eventually you'll get good enough that you can just break the thread. But the key is don't get frustrated and give yourself little easier options, like with the thread. So when you're ready to ply, you need 2 bobbins that are full of yarn that is twisted all in the same direction. And then you're going to put your last bobbin on, and you're going to make yourself a lazy Kate, which I'm not going to show you how to do. Actually, I think I'll put up a video of me showing you how to build a lazy Kate. It was when we were living in the off-grid cabin, and you just need a box and a couple dowels and it works great. And then you're going to spin in the opposite direction of the original direction. So this one is clockwise. So you need 2 bobbins that are clockwise. And then you're going to put a new bobbin on and you're going to spin counterclockwise in order to make a ply. And if you have questions, make sure to let me know. If you're interested in my daily posts on Patreon, you can go join Patreon for $3 a month to hear my thoughts every day about homesteading. And thanks for popping in. Just so you guys know, I'm not making any money on these wheels. I'm not an affiliate. I was not paid to make these videos. He did give me these 2 wheels as I was needing them to be able to make a good product review, but that is the extent of the remuneration that I have received.